It all began with a simple news report. A virus spreading faster than anyone expected. Most people panicked. Manel didn't. He had already lost everything when his wife died. But when his quiet city turns into a battlefield of screaming, running, and blood, he realizes that no one can escape what's coming. With the streets crawling with the infected and the government losing control, Manel's only choice is to fight his way through the ruins of Spain, searching for hope, or maybe just a reason to keep living. Our story begins in Spain, with a lawyer named Manel and his wife, Julia. They are at his sister Belen's house, and he is playing with his nephew, showing him videos of his cat. A little later, Manel gets ready to leave and asks her to say goodbye to her husband, who is traveling. We learn her husband is an army officer on a military mission. Manel gets in the car with his wife Julia, and they head home. We see that Julia is upset and not talking to him. He asks her what's wrong. She tells him she wants to have a child of her own, and doesn't understand why he is against the idea, especially since he loves children and always plays with his nephew. He tells her he is not ready for a child right now, and asks her to stop bringing it up because he is tired of it. Suddenly, a car appears and hits them. Unfortunately, his wife Julia dies. A full year passes. We see Manel living alone in a state of severe depression after his wife's death. He feels guilty because he argued with her before she died, and wishes they had a child. While he is sitting, he hears about a new virus spreading in the world. The press says this virus will be worse than corona, and the government is asking the people to be careful. He is depressed, and doesn't care if he lives or dies, so he ignores the news. Later, he meets two girls who want to buy his boat. We learn he wants to sell it because every time he gets on it, he remembers his wife and gets upset. But his memories overwhelm him, and he refuses to sell it. At night, he calls his sister to check on her. He tells her he didn't sell the boat. She asks him about the new virus. He says he heard about it. She tells him the situation is getting more dangerous every day, and that the army base where her husband works is moving all the families to the Canary Islands to be safe. She asks him to travel with them. He tells her to leave him alone, but she says she has already booked him a seat on the first flight to Belgium, and he must be on it in the morning. He agrees not to upset her. The next morning, we see him getting ready to go to the airport. As soon as he leaves his house, he is surprised that his neighbors are packing their things to leave the city. He gets scared and feels the situation is serious. He arrives at the airport and waits in line. He is surprised that his e-ticket is not in the system. The fear inside him increases. Suddenly, everyone gets messages on their phones that the virus has entered Spain. Everyone panics. One of the men takes a gun from airport security and starts shooting at the employees wanting to travel. Belen calls her brother and tells him to return home immediately because the virus is spreading in Spain, and if he encounters an infected person, a zombie, they will bite him. He takes his car to go home, but the road is completely blocked. After an hour, he gets fed up, gets out of the car, and walks home. At night, he reaches his building and is shocked to see one of his neighbors is infected. The government has set up an industrial tunnel for him to walk through to his car, so he doesn't infect anyone. Manel is terrified watching his neighbor, who looks like a wild animal. He realizes the danger he is in and returns to his apartment silently. The next day, he follows the news on social media and is surprised that thousands of people are infected and have turned into zombies, and the government cannot control the situation. He decides to stay hidden in his house, but he needs to get food. He goes down to the supermarket. People are panicking and looting everything. He can't find anything to take. He finds an empty bag of bread. An old man comes and snatches the bag from his hand. He walks in front of the supermarket and sees an infected officer running, who enters the supermarket and locks himself inside. Manel is standing there, confused. He then sees a zombie attacking an officer and biting him. The zombie leaves the food, notices Manel, and attacks him. But one of the officers pulls out his gun, kills the zombie, and tells Manel to get out of here. He runs away. He returns to his house and locks all the windows and doors. A little later, he gets a message on his phone that the army will evacuate his city and move them to safe zones. But he doesn't trust the message and prefers to stay in his house. In the middle of the night, the army arrives to evacuate the city. Manel stays hidden in his house and holds his cat to keep it quiet. They indeed leave without seeing him. 2 weeks pass, and the city is empty. The problem is that all communication lines are cut, and he cannot contact his sister. An even bigger problem is that his food supply has run out, and he must go out to search for food. He puts on his diving suit to protect himself from zombie bites. He then walks through the city, entering houses hoping to find food. By chance, he enters a house and is surprised by an old woman. She tells him her son left her behind because she is paralyzed, and he couldn't take her while escaping. Manel tells her not to worry, and to consider him her son. The old woman describes several houses around her where he might find food. He indeed enters these houses, finds food, and then returns to the old woman, and they eat together. At night, he is sitting and drinking when the radio suddenly turns on. He hears a person telling everyone to go to the Canary Islands because it is the safest place. He talks to the old woman on the walkie-talkie and asks her to get ready to travel to the Canary Islands together. She tells him she is paralyzed and will be a burden. He tells her he swears he will not leave without her. The next day, he prepares his bag and goes to the old woman to take her with him, but he is shocked to find her dead. We learn that she took her own life so she wouldn't be a burden. He finds a note she left, thanking him. Manel leaves the house, frustrated and sad. A zombie attacks him, but he finishes it off. He returns to his house and thinks about how to get out of the city. He takes his boat and decides to escape by sea. He takes his cat on his motorcycle and heads towards the port. Because of the loud noise, zombies come from everywhere, but he speeds up and manages to escape them. When he reaches the port, he locks the gate. He gets on his boat, but is surprised to find it has been damaged by the sea. He tries to start it, but it's no use. Luckily, he sees a ship approaching and signals to it. He feels that the door of salvation has opened. The ship stops and he gets on. They give him food and treat him well. The ship's owners tell him they are from Ukraine, and he tells them he is from Spain. One of them, named Victor, knows Spanish and translates for Manel. He notices the ship's owners are treating him coldly, but he endures it. At night, while sleeping, he hears a noise and finds a group of survivors arriving at the ship on a lifeboat. The next day, Manel sits with the ship's owners, and they ask him to tell them the locations of the cement factories in the city. Manel is surprised by their request, but tells them the locations. He walks around the ship and realizes he doesn't see the people who arrived last night. He asks Victor where they went. Victor gets nervous and tells him, "What people? No one came." Victor tells him, "Listen, son, if you bring this up again, I'll kill you." Manel realizes something is wrong and decides to leave quietly. He prepares to leave, but notices people are kidnapped and tied up below the ship. These are the people he saw arrive on the lifeboat. He goes to them and tries to free them, but one of the ship's owners arrives, kills one of the hostages, and then looks at Manel and tells him he must die too. Victor enters, distracts the owner, and Manel hits him until he kills him. Victor agrees with Manel that they should escape. They take a lifeboat and flee, but the ship's owners see them and shoot at them. Victor is shot in the shoulder. Manel rows at full speed until he reaches the shore. They take a car to get to the nearest hospital. As they are driving, Manel asks Victor why the ship's captain wanted cement. Victor tells him the captain wants to build a shelter to protect himself from the zombies, and is trying to kidnap as many people as possible to build it for him. They arrive at the hospital and are surprised by zombies attacking them. Manel steals his heart, gets out, and finishes them off. He then takes Victor and quickly enters the hospital. He leaves him in a room, locks it, and searches for tools to remove the bullet. As he walks, he hears people's voices. He moves toward the sound and calls out, "I need your help. I have an injured person." A nurse and a doctor come out. They have 3 children with them whose parents have died. The doctor says, "Where is your friend? I'll help him." She takes Victor to the operating room to remove the bullet. At night, he talks with the doctor and the nurse. They say the children's parents died in the hospital, and they have no one to care for them. The next day, Manel looks out the window and is surprised to see a helicopter belonging to the hospital. This is the only hope of salvation, but the problem is that zombies are all around it. A little later, his mobile phone gets a signal. He finds many messages from his sister. He watches the messages and videos she sent him and cries because he misses her. He sends her a message. "I'm fine, my love. Believe me, your brother is a hero. I will come to you at the first opportunity." Suddenly, he hears gunfire and is surprised that the ship's captain and his gang have arrived at the hospital. He quickly goes down to warn the others. He tells them they have to leave in the helicopter immediately. As they are escaping, a zombie appears and bites the doctor. The doctor knows she will turn in minutes and tells them there is no hope. "You go on and save yourselves. Leave me here. I accept what will happen to me, but please, protect the children." They say goodbye and leave. They reach the exit gate, but zombies are everywhere. Manel monitors the situation. When the right moment comes, he signals for the others to cross. The nurse takes 2 children and crosses quietly. Then Victor crosses after them. Only one child is left, hiding behind Manel, scared. He takes her hand, reassures her, and moves slowly. Suddenly, the zombies see him and attack. Manel quickly takes the child, enters a room, and locks himself in. At this time, the gang is at the hospital entrance, killing zombies, unaware that Victor and Manel are hiding inside. Manel waits until he is sure the gang has left. He comes out, meets the rest of his group, and looks out the window. The zombies are still surrounding the helicopter. He gets all the metal stands from the hospital, and they form a barrier around themselves with them. They begin to move through the zombies towards the helicopter. They keep walking like this until they reach the helicopter, but the problem is, they don't know how to start it. Manel tells Victor to try to start it while he goes down to kill the zombies. He gets out and kills a few zombies near the helicopter. Victor succeeds in starting the helicopter, but the gang hears the sound and approaches them. Manel uses his head. To distract the gang, he opens the iron gate, letting the zombies in to attack the gang. Victor takes off with the helicopter, and they throw a rope down for Manel. He hangs onto it and manages to get into the helicopter, happy that they have survived. He tells Victor to head to the Canary Islands because his sister lives there and it is safe. After 3 hours, Manel gets a call from his sister. He tells her, "Yes, my love, I am on my way." But the shock is that his sister tells him to turn back because the zombies have attacked the Canary Islands and occupied them completely. Our friend is shocked and does not know where to go. The film ends on this scene.